welcome everybody to another meeting of the Rotary Club of Livermore. And Ed Coates, in honor of you surviving your scary fire, would you be willing to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? If everybody else puts themselves on mute, please.
Certainly. You join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ed. All right, Michael and Stu. Michael, do you have a introduction for us?
I think I will give an introduction. That way Stu can get ready to push the button. We're going to talk, or not talk, we're going to sing about wine because we're going to talk about wine. So we could sing and talk about wine. And this is an older recording, but we went back and did some overdubs. And here's Stu with Red, Red Wine.
Red, red wine goes to my head, makes me forget that I still need her so. Red, red wine, it's up to you. All I can do, I've done, but memories won't go. Memories won't go. Red, red wine, stay close to me. Don't let me be alone. It's tearing apart my blue, blue heart. I had sworn that with time thoughts of you would leave my head. I was wrong. Now I find just one thing makes me forget. Red, red wine, stay close to me. Don't let me be alone. It's tearing apart my blue, blue heart.
Thank you very much, Stu and Michael. Another great selection. And it's a really good thing that my mute doesn't automatically go off when I'm singing along. You would not like to hear that. Stu and Michael are much better. All right, up next, Irv with a thought for the day. Irv. You're still on mute, Irv.
Mute. There. This is a little piece called Yes, I Have Regrets. It seems just yesterday that I was young, just married and embarking on my new life with my wife. Yet in another way, it seems like eons ago that I wonder where all the years went. I know that I lived them all. I have glimpses of how it was back then and of all of my hopes and dreams. But here it is, the winter of my life, and it catches me by surprise. How did I get here so fast? Where did the years go, and where did my youth go? I remember seeing older people through the years and thinking that these older people were years away from me and that winter was so far off that I could not fathom it. or imagine fully what it would be like. But here it is. My friends are retired and getting gray. They move slower, and I see older people now. Some are in better and some worse shape than me, but I see the great change. Not like the ones that I remember who were young and vibrant, but like me, their age is beginning to show, and we are now those older folks that we used to see and never thought we'd be. And so now I enter this new season of my life unprepared for all the aches and pains and the loss of strength and the ability to go and do things that I wish I had done but never did. Yes, I have regrets. There are things I wish I hadn't done, things I should have done, but indeed, there are many things I'm happy to have done. It's all in a lifetime. Life goes by quickly. So do what so do what you can today, as you can never be sure whether this is your winter or not. You have no promise that you will see all the seasons of your life. So live for today and say all the things that you want your loved ones to hear, and hope that they appreciate and love you for all of the things that you've done for them in the past years. Life is a gift to you. The way you live your life is your gift to those who come after. Make it a fantastic one. Remember, it is health that is real wealth and not pieces of gold. Live happy in this year and every year. And lastly, consider the following. Today is the oldest you've ever been, yet the youngest you'll ever be. So enjoy this day and while it lasts.
Thank you, Irv. I think we'll all keep that in mind to enjoy each day, say kind words to our loved ones, and live our life to the fullest. And as somebody who loves to ski, I think it's okay to be in the winter of your life. You can still do things as you all do because you're members of the Rotary Club of Livermore. So our meeting front line today, our Zoom host is Jeff Youngsma, as always. Joel is our spur reporter. Make sure to check out his hat with his press sign on it. Alan did a great job of putting together the slides for today. David is monitoring the chat, and Kathy Coyle will be publishing the spur. So do we have any visiting Rotarians or guests today other than our guest speaker? I did not see any. Anybody else want to chime in if we have any guests? All right. So another photo from my walkabouts, and this is a picture that was taken exactly 1 year ago today. So happy summer. I know it's not officially summer yet, but I think the weather is going to tell us that summer is getting a jump start today, and especially tomorrow and Friday. And I always love being reminded of Leo Croce, and I feel very honored and privileged to have gotten to know Leo through our joint membership in the Rotary Club of Livermore. So June birthdays and anniversaries. I'll let Alan take over. Alan, we're not hearing any music.
You muted, Alan.
Is that better?
Nope, still no music. We may just have to do this one with just visually.
Stuart Michael, got your guitar?
I know Stu has guitar like within inches. I have to walk in the other room. See what I say? Real quick, happy birthday, Stu.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. Okay.
So happy birthday to all my fellow Rotarians who celebrate in June, and happy anniversary to all of you who are celebrating. It's always just so inspiring to see all of the length of how long people have been married. So Jay, just a quick reminder about what we're doing at the end of the month.
On the 30th, we will have the demotion party. The past presidents are now at the stage of a project which I always called the illusion of control. We think we know what we're doing. We've run through our script. We're working on our costumes. We have 94 people signed up. The past presidents were adamant that we invite Carolyn's parents, since her father is a big Rotarian and it's shaped her life. So they're going to get to share what we do to their daughter. We thought that was only appropriate since they're family and close. We look like we hit our number of 100 that we planned for very comfortably. This next week, we will be looking at setups and food and minor stuff like that, but it's well in hand, and we look forward to seeing you.
All right, thank you, Jay. And because we're having the demotion party on June 30th, we will not be meeting on Zoom in 2 weeks at noon. So I'm counting down. Today and next week are my last Zoom meetings as president of the Rotary Club of Livermore. So Jay, did you have something more you'd like to add?
Just to say that I know how good that feels.
Thank you. So really thank you to Jay and Sheila for being the hosts of our first and hopefully only virtual rodeo parade. A real tip of the hat. They did a great job just being the MCs for that day. Also a shout out to Advanced Creative, who really allowed us to have the parade by putting together all of the video clips. And if you did not get an opportunity to watch it, but you all must have had the second Saturday in June at 10 a.m. on your calendars, because that's always when the rodeo parade is. But if you happen to have missed it, you can still watch it. That's one of the benefits of video. So go to our club website and you can watch it from there, or go directly to the YouTube link. So Ken
And
Perrine has a call for Jay. Yes.
I just wanted to add, if nothing else, you have to watch the Asbury United Methodist Church grill team. It is absolutely unbelievable. We will demand that they be in the parade next year. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's worth watching an hour and 15 minutes to see the grill team.
Yep, I second that. Thank you. And Ken Perrine, you have a call for volunteers.
Thanks, President Carolyn. Yeah, so we've got a fantastic opportunity for one lucky Rotarian next year. we, for circumstances being what they were, have a vacancy in our club service director. And basically, this is the person that kind of rides herd on all of the cats that make these meetings happen. And next year is like a big blank slate, right? We don't know exactly what our meetings are going to be like. So for somebody that's got passion and energy around making our meetings be the best they can be post-COVID, if you've got interest in maybe helping kind of oversee the different moving parts of that, let me know. Would love to get that position filled. Thanks.
Thank you very much,
question.
Ken. Kathy, did you have a question about that?
Yeah, Ken, is that for a 1 year or a full term?
Well, if you do a great job, maybe we could extend that out for longer than 1 year.
Okay.
But the initial commitment would just be for 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, and now I'd like to invite Pat McMiniman to do some additional Paul Harris Fellow recognitions. Pat.
Thank you, President Carolyn. Fellow Rotarians and guests, today we recognize Dr. Norman Bregman for his generous giving to the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International since he first became a Paul Harris Fellow 1 year ago in June 2020. We are inspired by and congratulate Norm for his substantial giving to the Rotary Foundation during the current Rotary year and for achieving Paul Harris Fellow +4 on the anniversary of his first year as a member of our club. If you're doing the calendar math on this, that's quite an accomplishment during the first Rotary year for anyone. Norm, you had provided some insight to your reasons for giving to the Rotary Foundation a couple of weeks ago. Is there anything you'd like to add to that today?
Only that we should all give, whether it's Paul Harris or to our Livermore Rotary Foundation.
That's the essence of it.
Good.
Great, thank you. And today we also recognize Lee Yonker, who has also given very generously to the Rotary Foundation. Lee first became a Paul Harris Fellow in October 2013 and is receiving his Paul Harris Fellow +4 recognition pin today. We also have invited Lee to say a few words about why he is inspired to give to the Rotary Foundation. So I'll turn it over to you, Lee.
Thank you, Pat. Like all of you, Faye and I think quite carefully about where our donations go. Faye pays particular attention, local, national, international. She has a list. She reads all the materials. I do similar things, and not quite as rigidly as she does, but we, like all of you, pay very careful attention. When I joined Rotary, it was natural to look at the foundation as a place to consider donating. And shortly after I came, I heard Brian Mayhill give a presentation on Polio Plus. And hard not to be impressed with Polio Plus, hard not to be impressed by the passion of Brian. And so I actually came directly home and wrote a check as a result of that presentation. Shortly after, Faye and I travel a lot, or I should say we used to travel a lot. We've been grounded like the rest of you. And shortly after I made my first donation, we were on a trip to the Amazon. I just happened to think about this after Pat called me a few minutes ago. And we're going down one of the rivers and we stop at this clinic. You know, it's served by boats. And here are these people lined up at the clinic for various medical and dental stuff. It's clear the clinic was having an enormous impact, and it was in fact a Rotary International project. And other times we've run into Rotary International projects. You can read the material and it's impressive, but let me tell you, if you go somewhere and actually see the project in action, it's even more impressive. So I encourage everyone to take a look and consider donating to this important cause. Thank you.
Lee, thank you for those inspiring words. I never knew you had gone on the Amazon trip and what you discovered there. That's just amazing. So we extend our thanks and appreciation to both Norm and Lee for their strong support of the Rotary Foundation this year and for helping our club meet its giving goals to the Rotary Foundation this year. So back to you, Carolyn.
All right, thank you very much, Pat, and thank you, Lee and Norm, for your generosity. So I'd like to extend congratulations to our own Kathy Coyle, who is being recognized from Rotary District 5170. She's recipient of this year's Carolyn Schutz Training and Education Award. Well-deserved recognition and award to Kathy, especially for all of the work that she did to make the district training assembly happen this year in the remote fashion. Our club is well represented with volunteer efforts for the District 5170, and so we congratulate Kathy on that award. Congratulations, Kathy. And one of the additional places Kathy will be recognized is at the district conference. And so the district conference, as you know, is Saturday, July 17th down in Gilroy at Gilroy Gardens. You can register, go to our Rotary homepage for our club website. You can have a link to be able to register for that. And then to let you know, if you are one of our club members who are participating and helping with that event, we will cover your registration for the day. And if you're not, then we will cover a portion of that. And Glenn, I'm not remembering the total dollar amount we agreed on.
Me neither.
Okay, so a portion will be covered to encourage you to go and attend.
I think it was
but know
$100.
that
I think it was $100, but
the registration's $100 and we'll cover 40 or 50 of that if you are not working the day of the event. And I'll give a little plug for those of you who weren't with us earlier. Irv is coordinating all of the photographers for that day, and he and Don Wentz are both signed up to be photographers, but he's also recruiting additional photographers. So if you would like to volunteer for the day, please reach out to Irv and let him know.
actually, if I could jump in, so registration is actually free. It's the meals that cost the money up to $100. Irv can correct me if I'm wrong. So for those who are not solicited by the district to help out, we'll cover $40 of your day there.
All right, thank you. So that's a great deal. Thank you. All right, and Paul Thompson, an update from Nepal. And I remember a time, let's time Paul. He told me this was going to take 3.75 minutes. I have my doubts. Paul.
1 second, I just set the timer to 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So I'm pressing the button right now. So thanks, Carolyn, and thanks for allowing me not to take that bet, really, but I'm going to try and stick with it. First, I'd like to thank everybody who has given to the Nepalese Children's Fund, although we are broadening that to Nepal people in general now. The situation in Nepal is worsening, as it is in many other areas of that part of the world, Bangladesh, India, etc. Nepal has a massive border, long border with India, and I think they're now suffering with the Delta variant, which used to be called the Indian variant, I think. I have just sent to Joel Swanson, and I think I'll send it to Kathy Coyle, an article I've written for The Spur, which has more detail in regarding the situation in Nepal. So I really would encourage you to read that. It's very short, but it does refer to a couple of newspaper articles which have a lot more detail than I'm going to say now. One of them quotes that the vaccine shortage, they're calling it the vaccine apartheid because, it seems like the poor people and people of color are the ones who are suffering with a lack of vaccine. And they're calling Nepal ground zero in that area. So thank you everybody who has contributed. I'm asking again for more contributions to help. My offer of matching the first $1,000 was more than taken care of by the first person to volunteer. And I've had 2 or 3 people give quite significant donations. And I've had to know a few. I don't know everybody who has, because the money goes straight to the district foundation. How am I doing, Kathy? I mean, Carolyn?
You're doing well. I didn't set my timer, but you're doing well, Paul.
Whatever. Anyway, so that's it. So on there, on the notice, you'll see in the spur, hopefully, you'll see where to send the money. You can send it to the district foundation with a note for Livermore, Nepal, and please do that. And the last thing that the Midtown Club did was to send out 10 oxygen concentrators. I don't know how that works, to 5 different hospitals. Two of the hospitals in Kathmandu, and 3 of the other hospitals are outside Kathmandu in some other communities. So they're really working hard. They are receiving donations from many clubs around the world, and I know that our club is high in their esteem. So thank you, everybody. And Carolyn, just before I hang up, I'm going to see if I can bring up my timer. I've got 50 seconds to go. So anyway, I'll relinquish this 50 seconds and give it to the next speaker. So thank you, everybody. Please consider. Oh, one more thing. I'm contemplating traveling to Nepal to see this, to see what's going on there, probably later next year. So if anybody wants to join me, we can organize a great cultural visit over there. I'm done. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Paul. I'm glad that you were able to do that in the time. And I think, Alan, we're going to skip the video, but I would highly encourage anybody who has not watched the rodeo parade to go do it and see all the components of that, especially the video about Access Community Health. Next week's meeting will be my final meeting as president of Rotary Club of Livermore. Does my voice sound giddy? I don't know. All right. But this week, we are going to hear an update from Ali Wente, and I invite Kimberly Rudel to do an introduction. Kimberly.
Thank you. Madam President, fellow Rotarians and guests, it is my privilege to introduce the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience and 5th generation wine grower, Ali Wente. Ali joined Wente Family Estates in July of 2019 as the Senior Brand Manager of Wente Vineyards. In July of 2020, Ali was promoted to Director of Marketing. Prior to joining the family business, Ali held brand marketing roles at Constellation Brands, where she led strategy and development of a portfolio of their luxury brands. Ali is a graduate of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, from which she received her Bachelor of Science in Journalism in 2013. In 2017, Ali attained her Level 3 Advanced Certification in Wine from the prestigious Wine and Spirits Education Trust. Ali is a member of the Wente Foundation for Arts Education Board and the Livermore Valley Wine Foundation Board, 2 organizations focused on providing support to local children in need. She also sits on the board of directors with me for the Livermore Chamber of Commerce and the California Wine Institute, not with me. Outside of work, Ali enjoys spending time with her friends and family. She's an avid snow skier and has a love for food and wine. Please give a warm Rotarian welcome to our speaker today, Ali Wente.
Wow, thank you. What an introduction. Well, hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here today. And it was really fun to sit in. You guys have some fun meetings. I love the slides. They are much more fun than my slides. So no planks on mine, but I really enjoyed them. So thank you for letting me be here today. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of an update on what's happening with Wente Family Estates. mostly focusing on our local properties, and then just some things that we've done recently that are kind of fun and new that I thought you might find interesting. So if technology becomes my friend, I'm going to share my screen and I'll just take you through a little presentation. And if you have, okay, I think that's right. If you have any questions, go ahead and just let me know and I'll try to look at the chat. But if I am not seeing the chat for some reason, please just go ahead and take yourself off mute and I'll just answer in the moment. Can you see my screen? Good, okay. All right. If I can, there we go. So one update that I want to make sure everybody here is aware of, which you might not be, is that our prior restaurant, the Wente Vineyards restaurant down on Arroyo Road, is no longer a restaurant. And it kind of went through a slight rehaul, I'll call it, in May of 2019. So it had some time being open, but I think we felt like we didn't really hit the mark with what we were trying to do as we kind of reimagined this space. And so there's always silver linings. So we had plenty of time on our hands to really think about what type of experience we wanted to have at Arroyo Road while we were shut down for about 8 months of last year. And we really decided that, the reason that we're here today and what we've really, set our flag down in and what we really created our business around is wine. And so we thought a lot about how can we create a better wine-led experience at our Arroyo Road property. And so now we have evolved it. We spent a lot of time thinking about different ways that we could lead with wine. And so really what we are hosting now today, because we're having just about the same problem as everyone else in the US with a slow hiring process, but we're hosting flights, tastings. We have wine sales ambassadors who can take you through our story, who can take you through all of our beautiful wines, especially our more exclusive limited release wines that we make only for the property or online, which will be our focus. We do have, really beautiful seasonal charcuterie boards or a vegetable hummus platter that you could have with your wines. And then launching next month, which is what I'm really excited about, is our food and wine experiences. So we're still going to be incorporating food. We have long believed in food and wine as a lifestyle and meant to be enjoyed together. So we will be doing kind of 2 different wine and food pairing experiences, which we're calling a classic experience. So that one's a little bit more casual, a little bit more hands-off from your server. So you want to come in, and I'll just use an example. Say you want a flight of wines and a really beautiful wood-fired pizza and a beautiful fresh salad. And that's what you would get. So it's a set menu. So you would just say if you want the classic or the reserve, and then our ambassadors would take you through that. And then the reserve experience is a little bit more educational. It's definitely more forward on food and wine pairing experiences and why this specific food item pairs with this specific wine, whereas the classic is a little bit more hands-off and, oh, try this and try this with this food. So going to be 2 very different experiences, but 2 really lovely and amazing experiences, but it's different. And I think a lot of people have gone to the restaurant in the past and who maybe have special memories and traditions there. Well, we're still hoping we can have special memories and traditions with you with our food and wine experiences, or just wine on the patio. But we're really excited to start using this space as more of a kind of tasting room, wine-led experience first. And for the foreseeable future, we will not be reopening our Tesla Road property because it is our production facility. That is where all of our essential team is working, and to keep them safe. And also we have so much space at Arroyo Road that we weren't really using before. So to keep the team kind of safe and isolated, but then also really, again, reimagining what we can do at Arroyo Road, we're going to just be hosting people for Wente Vineyards specifically at our Arroyo property. Does anybody have any questions about that? I don't have my chat up.
Do you know what day next month?
We are targeting the, let me pull up this. I want to make sure I get the right date for you. We're targeting the weekend of the 10th.
And do we have to have reservations?
Yes, that's a great question. Yeah, so reservations are required right now so that we can kind of control the flow and make sure that you have a lovely experience. So they're required for the food and wine, but also for just general tasting as well right now.
And so Allie, one of the questions in the chat is, what if somebody still has a gift card for the restaurant?
We will accept your gift card. Yes. Since we're still the same company, so we'll still accept your gift card. No worries about it being for the quote unquote restaurant.
And can gift cards be used at the grill?
I believe that they can be used at the grill. Yes. Okay. Oh, I found my chat. I was like, I could not find where my chat had gone off to. What's the cost difference between the two experiences? That's a great question. I think it's going to be about $15 to $20 difference between the two experiences. And right now we're open only Friday to Sunday. We are planning and hoping to open for Thursdays in the summer. But again, it's just as soon as we can hire people to be open for Thursdays, we will. We're putting one foot in front of the other right now and trying to make sure that we're opening sustainably. We're going to be updating our website with all the information on our wine and food experiences and what you can expect and the full pricing and all of that. So I'll make sure to send that to you guys once it is fully up and you can get a good look at it. So I'll put you at the top of my list for making sure that you have that information and you're some of the first to know, which is kind of fun. Okay. So another fun topic is that we are going to have music and wine events. So they will not be the traditional concert series that you might be used to, but we will be doing safe music and wine outdoors, and it's going to be a late summer of tribute bands. So we're going to have all tribute bands. It will be at Arroyo Road, kind of on that same concert lawn. But instead of having the typical, we'll have some VIP tickets where you can have some of a table dining experience. It'll just be on a separate lawn. And then we'll have just a little bit more of a casual, bring a blanket, bring some chairs and sit on the lawn to enjoy the tribute bands. We will keep this at a lower capacity than like the 1,500 person concert series that we were hosting before. So I think our max is 500 people because that is less than 50% capacity, but just again, to be safe and because we don't really know what to expect. But we're really excited to bring wine and music back to the property. And we do plan to, for, 4th of July and some other small kind of fun weekends to just have live music at the property for tastings. This is just more of a purposeful event. And on these days when we're having these concerts, we won't be having any of our wine tasting experiences. We're going to be solely focused on these events for the time it will be. So to make sure that we have the proper amount of staff to help serve everybody. And I'm happy to share this presentation after the fact, so you guys can have all the dates and the information. And again, you guys are the first to know, this hasn't even gone live on the website. We don't even have ticket purchasing live yet, but we're hoping to have that in the next 2 weeks. So start planning now. You can get ahead of the curve if you are interested in coming.
So Allie, a question in the chat is, next year, do you plan to bring back concerts or is this a permanent change?
It's likely more of a permanent change. We might have different types of artists, but we actually no longer have our catering business any longer. So I think the style of the concerts may not work as well as it had in the past. And I think we too have seen, and I don't know if any of you guys have been to, like, we had Matt Nathanson last year, and we had, I'm forgetting who it was the year before that. But those have been some of our most popular concerts to date, our most successful concerts. And so the proof was in the pudding a little bit that perhaps it was time to shake up the style a little bit more, have a more casual environment that's a little bit more free flowing. So there will be food still. So if you liked that you know, I'll call it the original concert experience, there's ways to have a portion of that. And then we'll also have some food trucks. So if you would rather just grab something from your food truck, bring it over to your picnic blanket or area, then you're more than welcome to do that as well. All righty. Myriad as well. So Myriad as well is open just for the weekends right now, Saturday and Sunday. Again, we're doing a pretty similar thing, wine by the glass, wine by the bottle. We're having, yeah, Matt Nathanson was a great concert. And then we also have some seasonal boards for you if you would like to pair that. I think what's really fun is that we have hiking in the vineyard experience where you kind of hike up the back of the vineyard behind the tasting room, and we have a tasting to complement it at the end. It's a really unique and fun hands-on experience that feels really VIP. So if you guys have any visitors from out of town or anyone that you want to have a unique experience with, I think that would be a showstopper. And then we have a wine and food experience, which we have always sort of had for Myriad as well. So there's no change here, just highlighting some fun different things that you can do with us. And again, this is reservations are required here as well. And we are just hosting 21 and over at the time. Oh yeah, you could share a glass of wine with a rattlesnake. Well, yeah, we will be very careful. And our team goes through rattlesnake training, actually, which sounds like my nightmare. But they do go through that training so that all guests have somebody who knows what they're doing. Any questions about Myriad as well? Oh, when we get further in, is that anyway? Okay, I can explain that. I'm just going to answer your question now, Kathy. So we have been innovating and trying to create new brands to speak to different consumers, different customers, make wines of different styles, really grow our breadth and depth of our portfolio outside of just Wente Vineyards and Myriad as well. So Unsullied was a kind of non-oaked wine that we Chardonnay that we created that it's very new. We launched it in the middle of next year, so it's probably been around for about 6 months. So I'm so happy that you found a bottle and that you had one. So yeah, it's kind of fun. So we've Unsullied and Angels Inc. is another one of our brands, and that's a Pinot Noir. And actually Angels Inc. has been a super successful kind of smash hit so far. So we're really excited about some of this new stuff. And I think that's something you can probably plan to see from us. And I should have included a portfolio shot of everything that we have, but I didn't do that, of course. So I'll put one in here before I send this presentation back out so you guys have it. Okay, of course the golf course is open. Golf, the most popular activity of the COVID world. So golf is open. We're pretty booming. So I'd say get your reservations earlier rather than later if you want to book a tee time. The grill is open. Right now, the grill is open for outdoor seating, and it's open Monday to Wednesday just for golfers. And then Thursday to Sunday for everybody. You don't need a golf appointment. You don't need anything. We are doing window service right now. So kind of you walk up to the window outside, you order at the window, we bring your food to your table. I understand that that might not be everybody's preference, but again, we are fighting just like everybody else out there to bring people back to work and to try to staff up. Our intent is to go back to tableside service. We just truthfully don't have the staff to do it yet. So again, we're putting one foot in front of the other. We're trying to provide the ultimate experience that we possibly can for our guests, but also make sure that we aren't overcommitting and under delivering on our promise. Questions about Golf or the Grill?
No question about Golf or the Grill, but Allie, there was a question, and maybe you're going to get to this later, just overall for the U.S. wine industry. How did the revenues for 2020 compare to 2019? And just in general, the direction of the wine industry revenues?
Yeah, I did not see that question. That's a good question. So the total wine industry did not, it actually kind of depended on what your business mix was. I will say that. So if you were a smaller winery that relied heavily on direct sales and your tasting room, you definitely were hit much harder than perhaps wineries that had a really large footprint in grocery or retail, or third-party e-commerce businesses like wine.com. We as a company did pretty well. We had to make some sacrifices in order to do well, but I think in general, what I'm really excited about is that there was a kind of a shift in the consumer when we were going through pantry load and there was a lot of uncertainty in the air. They were less willing to take risks on some new brands. So even despite that, we launched some new brands, crazy people. But what we saw was a lot of people return back to Wente Vineyards and try the brand. And, Wente, we've been around so long, we're kind of like the wine that your parents drank and their parents drank and their parents drank. And so for us, we've seen a really amazing and kind of tremendous growth and a return back to Wente from the consumer. We're still growing really, really well today. I mean, we're outperforming our budget, our goals for the first half of the year right now. So we're really excited about the opportunity to keep growing. But I do think, from a general US perspective, it would be hard to put it all into one bucket, though I know people have. But I think it just varies so much on what your business mix was and how you did at the end of last year. It was not a fun year.
So Allie, one golf question for you. Golf clubs, as you mentioned, golf courses are seeing a boom, and we're really seeing a boom last year. So how easy or difficult is it to get a reservation, a tee time to golf at Wente?
Good question. I wouldn't say it just depends if you have like a really specific need, but I would say I do recommend booking earlier rather than later. It is hard. If you are sitting here today on Wednesday and you want to go play golf this weekend, you probably won't find a reservation unless for some reason it's going to be too hot or too cold or, the weather. We have a lot of fair weather golfers. So I would try to book 2 to 3 weeks out at a minimum right now. And then I saw another question in the chat that says, are you having difficulty hiring? What positions are you having trouble to hire for? Yes, we are having a hard time hiring. And I'll say it's like a slow and steady stream. Just we're getting a couple people a week. We're having a hard time with a lot of golf course roles, actually, like outside services, golf cart attendants, pretty much everything, dishwashers for the grill, wait staff, wine sales ambassadors. We're having a hard time hiring a wine sales lead. So it's kind of all over the board, and generally it's not even just hospitality based. I'll just give you an example. I'm looking for a senior e-com manager. You would think that that's a really exciting role. And looking at when I posted a similar position about 6 months ago, I got 5 times the number of applicants that I'm receiving right now. So it's a hard market. It's definitely not it's not an employer's market, it's a candidate's market, because there's a lot of jobs and there's a lot of people who want you, and a lot of companies are starting to offer really big signing bonuses, or they're incentivizing people to go back to work. And we're trying to do what we financially can. And so that's why we've sort of taken this approach of one foot in front of the other. We'll open up new experiences. We'll open up the grill more. We'll open up maybe more tea times as we're able to get more people. So that's kind of what the position that we're in, which I generally think a lot of different businesses, hospitality especially, are in with us at this time. Because we definitely flex our networks and hear the pulse of what's going on. How is the current drought affecting the business, and what can you expect for the future? So we are in a drought. We're not seeing a direct effect quite right at this moment, I would say. I was just on the call with the viticulture team saying they were praying for rain. So I do think we have to use irrigation a little bit more than we're hoping to, or that we would typically like to do. Actually, drought isn't terrible for vineyards because vineyard vines like to be stressed and well drained. So some of our most heaviest drought years can produce the most beautiful wines. It's not a long-term sustainable thing to do, but we weren't necessarily in drought years before this. I think ultimately we are hoping that we don't have another fire season like the one we had last year. That definitely provided a lot of challenges for our team from a health and safety perspective. We were lucky that we didn't, you guys are from Livermore, we didn't have any physical fires that butt up to our vineyards or endangered the lives of our teams or families. But we did have smoke in the air, which everybody kind of had throughout California, truthfully. So we're hoping that this doesn't become a regular norm, but it does give you a good scare when it's been a drought year like this. Okay, I'm sure there will be more questions. I'll move on to some of the fun stuff. So I just wanted to say, like, these are two of the things that we've been in the news for a little bit lately. So Monarch Tractors, which is a zero emission electric driverless tractor, has been using our property. So we've been an early partner with them for over a year and letting them use our property for testing and kind of figuring out how this tractor works and driving it through the vineyards. And so because of that partnership, we're the first to get keys to a new tractor. And we worked out this grant with the Bay Area Air Quality District, and we were able to get 2 of these tractors. So if you don't know, all of our wines are estate grown and certified sustainable. So we care a lot about our impact on the environment. We always say that if we're not taking care of the soil should be our insurance policy. We're a 5-generation family run business. And if we don't take care of the land that our business is flourishing off of, then we're not going to have a business. So we very much care about that. So it's an exciting advancement. Technology is really impressive, and we're excited to kind of start using these. I don't think we've put them to action too much yet, but as harvest is right around the corner now, we certainly will be. And from a marketing standpoint, because that's what my team does, is we've also kind of partnered with a sustainable organization called Kiss the Ground. They're really focused on sustainable regenerative farming and teaching farmers all across America and trying to convert them to sustainable regenerative practices. They have a pretty lofty goal, which at the moment is not coming to my mind. I think it is by 2025, they want to have, oh goodness, I'll find it. It'll come to me, but they have some pretty lofty goals, and we are donating 25 cents for every bottle sold out in the market right now to their organization. So it's just a fun new way. They've been teaching our team new things. We've been learning from them. They have a really interesting documentary right now on Netflix called Kiss the Ground. It's narrated by Woody Harrelson, and it's actually really mind-blowing, and I suggest everybody watch it. But that really got us excited, and we were excited because we do some regenerative farming techniques. And so there's a lot of synergy between the groups, and just furthering our commitment, putting the power in the consumer's hand to care about sustainability and make a difference in this world. So last year, we were locked up just like everybody else and thought, how can we bring the wine tasting experience into people's homes? And we created the first ever voice app virtual tasting. So if you have an Amazon Alexa or a Google Home, we own virtual wine tasting as a command on their devices, and it'll take you through a virtual history and wine tasting of Riva Ranch Chardonnay, Morning Fog Chardonnay, and Southern Hills Cabernet. So it's pretty fun. It's something kind of new. It made a big splash, I would say, in the tech and wine industry news around this time last year. And it's just something fun and different. So if you have any family who doesn't live in California, but you want to show them a fun trick, you can say, hey, Alexa, open virtual wine tasting, and it'll go straight into the Wente Vineyards story in our wines. So just something super fun. House Shard, love Riva. Me too. It's runs like water here. So speaking of, if it's your House Shard, we also launched a subscription service. So, you know, we have our regular wine clubs, but those are really focused on nth degree or small lot wines that are tasting room only. We have a subscription service, which is 6 bottles monthly for a flat rate. So shipping's included, the wines are discounted, and we ship it from our winery to your door every month. So we have 3 different subscriptions. We have a Riva Ranch subscription, which is just 6 bottles of Riva. We have a Morning Fog, which is 6 bottles of Morning Fog, and a mixed case, which is 2 Riva, 2 Morning Fog, and 2 Southern Hills. So we're just dipping our toe in subscription services. Say that 3 times fast. But it's been fun to see. Definitely, there was a lot of people who are Riva fans, Morning Fog fans, who have signed up for this. And they signed up, you know, last year when it wasn't as easy to maybe go to the grocery store and pick it up, or their usual methods, and they've stuck with us. And I think it's fun, and we're going to probably continue to expand on these types of offerings. So you can check it out. It's on our website under clubs. It's called Wente Plus. Awesome.
So Allie, I'm going to let you go through your presentation. We have about 5 minutes left, and then if we have time at the end, we'll take questions then.
Perfect. I think I have like 1 or 2 more slides. One slide, this is the last slide. So if any of you are familiar with our artist series wines, the artist of all of these beautiful labels is Janine Heath. She's local to Danville, and she's been really exceptional throughout a tough year to be an artist partner, because she didn't get to have everyone come to the Tesla property and see her art hanging up. But it's been fun. They're all released and they're all available at our tasting rooms. And I just wanted to make a note that we recently sort of repositioned this portfolio. So now 5% of all of the total sales, and these are the most popular wines that we sell at the tasting room. So it's not a small amount, but 5% of our sales, we're going to be contributing or kicking back to the Wente Foundation for Arts Education. So we thought it was a really great tie-in. You know, it's the artist series. The Wente Foundation for Arts Education provides art education programs and opportunities to kids throughout the Tri-Valley and sort of on the fringe of the Tri-Valley Bay Area, depending on the need. So we do everything from providing instruments and paying teachers to actually be able to work and keep their art programs, to hosting the theater program for kids. So it's a great kickback, something we probably should have done a long time ago. And we just started doing that. So if you do come in and enjoy any of these wines, you now know that you're also helping support children's art education. Okay, that was it. That's all I have for you. So I can stop sharing, and I can answer any questions that you guys have. Thank you.
Well, before there are any more questions, I wanted to make sure everybody saw in the chat that Gordon, we know Wente Vineyards has always been very generous to our crab feed, and Mike Thompson is always working on ways that we actually maybe we'll have through the Rotarian Foundation of Livermore a sale for some wines donated from Wente. So not only from the Rotary Club of Livermore, but through everybody in Livermore and the Tri-Valley who benefits from Wente Vineyards philanthropy. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
And then Michael says also for the music scholarship. So is there any one last question for Allie? Lots of kudos. I don't see anybody with a hand up. So we would like to just say thank you very much, Allie, for that update. I'm sure there are some of all those concerts from the tribute bands that you'll have. So maybe some of our club members will be out there to enjoy it this summer, as well as some of the wine tasting experiences out at the grill. Thank you for sharing those updates. We feel like we're Wente insiders right now.
You are, you have some of the first information. So, and perfect that you do. So thank you so much for having me. I will send this presentation back out. And in the meantime, if you need anything from me, you know how to find me. I am not far away. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Allie. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another meeting of the Rotary Club of Livermore. We will meet again next Wednesday at noon, June 23rd, and that will be my final meeting presiding as club president over Zoom. And then I'll see many of you on June 30th at the demotion party in the evening at Alton Lane Nursery. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Have a good week.